Madison, Good Karma Brands radio station.
Sports Center updates on 100.5 ESPN are brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison. Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit metrokiaofmadison.com. The biggest games.
Recky for three, got it to go!
The most compelling stories.
Three of the former players' sons were on this particular Monroe team.
The area's best high school sports coverage.
Throws it down with two hands, the whole hoop is shaking. That's a 10. That's a 10, baby.
This is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
This is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. I'm Hunter Vaughn. Here with me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. And again, this is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania, and Zimbrick Honda's been a part of the Madison area since 1973. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at two convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and you get the 4th for how much, Dennis?
$1.
That's right, just $1. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda. Dennis, we are 30 seconds into the show, and you're already distracted.
I was waving at Chrissy. Say hi.
Yeah, I know, and you can say hi to the YouTube stream as well as you're waving at people. We're going to be going through the brackets for both the boys and the girls tournament tonight on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. We've already gotten through the regionals. We're on to the sectional level for the girls tournament, and it's already been a really good tournament for the girls' side. We've seen a lot of really great games. I was at Monona Grove for their win over Delavan Darien, and then went to Monona Grove Edgewood with Adam Mertz on Saturday. They got to see that really, really good Edgewood squad. But we'll talk more about that Edgewood team here in a little bit. We'll also go through the boys tournament, as they will be starting things off Tuesday night and then getting into the regionals on Friday and Saturday. But any area teams, when we look at Division 5 or Division 4 for the girls' side, that we should be looking out for from the area? I didn't see anybody on the Division 5 level, but Division 4...
Well, actually on Division 5, this is interesting. Madison Country Day, a 10 seed, made it, and they're going to go up against Albany Monticello, a 1 seed. So that could be a good one. On the other side, one of my favorites, Jim Myers is back coaching Barneveld. I was covering him as a reporter for the newspaper as well as for radio when he was running the table, their Hall of Fame coach. Mm-hmm. When he came back and took it over, I said right away, they're going to be in the sectionals. Here they are in the semifinals, the number 1 seed. And they bring an 19-7 record in. Number 1 seed. They're going up against Schulzburg, another team from the Southwest.
Yep.
And the Southwest part of the state, for girls and for boys in the Division 4 and 5 levels, always been outstanding. And so we've got 3 teams. And what's interesting is these are on opposite sides of the bracket. But again, you look at the brackets, they reseed for the state tournament, so you don't know. Could they end up playing each other, Barneveld and Albany Monticello, could they play each other in the first round of state, or could they both win and play in the state finals? Would that be so cool in our area?
So you mentioned the southwest part of the state, and growing up in the state of Wisconsin, I've always noticed that, of course, there's Cuba City and everything that they do. Mineral Point. Yep. Do we know why that part of the state is so good?
Outstanding coaches,
basketball?
Outstanding youth programs. For the guys, Jerry Pettigrew, both the guys and the girls. Dan Burson now is going to hopefully bring his boys team back. Again, they won state last year, his first state title, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's been on the WBCA board for years. So it's great coaching, and it's basketball country. It's Hoosiers. Small town. You go by all the barns. Everybody's got basketball hoops out there. In the dead of winter, shovel off the driveway, you throwing up hoops. Now you got gyms, and you don't have to go out and do it like the old days when I was growing up. You're happy. The ball was dead, so you didn't dribble. You just ran. But it was a hoop. So I was thinking this is My first one, I had state wrestling last weekend, so I was totally immersed in that. But I got to watch Hoosiers before I get back to my first game this week. It's always a tradition.
Yeah, you have to. It's the best way to start off March, because then you get into all of the tournaments and everything. Dennis, as we move up to Division 4, we've got more area teams there.
Well, you got Cambridge and Belleville opposite sides, same conference, the Capital Small. Belleville with
both 3 seeds.
Both 3 seeds. Belleville 21-5, and Cambridge, I believe, was 19-6. Cambridge, though, the Prairie School, and that's my pick to win it all. So,
okay.
To win it
what
all.
about them?
That's an outstanding program. From year in and year out. They were picked number 1 to come in. Boy, just looking at here, Abby Jaramillo, the coach. 73, 96-34 since she's been there. They've got some great players on the team. Jajana Glass Barnes, JJ Barnes, outstanding. She's a Miss Basketball finalist. So coming in averaging, 21 points, 7 rebounds a year ago. She's a Marquette recruit. So I've had the Prairie School circled since day one.
Well, and we see that a lot when you get in these lower level. I hate calling them the lower level, but Division 5, Division 4, if you have a player who's in that Mr. Basketball or Miss Basketball conversation, they usually are able to just dominate games to an absurd level because they'll just do everything, and they're such a higher level player than what the rest of them are in those divisions that you see that where it's, okay, they just have that one superstar.
But as that one superstar is, it's can they make the rest of their teammates better?
Yep.
Because what happens a lot of times, a lot of players, they wait for that good player to bail them out. So it's good for, like a Barnes to get in foul trouble early in the year. Maybe she's got to sit. Somebody else has got to kind of lead the team and know, hey, I can do it too. That if it comes down to crunch time, teams try to take the best players out with a box and one or, the triple teaming. We see that with Will Garlick with Middleton. Every time, the ball goes inside, there's 3 guys on him. You got to find some other players. You got to have the support staff. So as much as one player can dominate, you still want the support staff. And the Prairie School's had it for the last number of years.
This is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. And our video stream for PrepMania is sponsored by Pemberton PI. When life takes an unexpected turn to Pemberton Personal Injury Law Firm. Pemberton's client-centered approach ensures you're treated with respect, care, and compassion. Never just another case. With offices in Madison and Baraboo, Pemberton has the experience to secure the justice and compensation you deserve, serving clients statewide. There are no fees until you win. Trust a firm that treats you like family. Visit Pemberton Personal Injury Law at pembertonpi.com. Dennis, we move up to the Division 3 level then for girls, as again, they completed the regional levels last weekend. They're on to the sectional round. Any area teams here that you're watching for, we think that in the Division 3 level can make the run through this Thursday and Saturday and get up to Green Bay for the state championship?
Yeah, I'd have to say, I think it starts with Edgerton. They were number 1 seed up in their bracket. You see they're bringing in a 24-2 record. So Coach Chris Jenny, 110 and 18. 110 and 18. That's his 6-year record right now. So and Edgewood is out of that. Mm-hmm. They're out of Division 3. Laconia, though, that's a team that they're going to probably have to get through. I think Laconia is in the bottom. Yeah, they were a number 1 seed in the bottom, and they've got East Troy. But Edgerton's got to go through Prairie du Chien. We saw Prairie du Chien last year, in regionals up against Edgewood. But Edgerton, outstanding team. Claudia Jenny, daughter of the coach, sophomore. Wow. She led the Rock Valley in assists and steals as a freshman, and her game has just improved this year. So, I think Edgerton's got a good shot against Laconia. And then you got Oostburg on the Oostburg Elk Mound, or kind of thinking about Wisconsin Dells is still alive in Section 1, and Wittenberg, Bernenberg. Those are my teams, actually, that I picked for with sports. So you and I decided to, for these games, go through for Divisions 3, 2, and 1 and make some predictions on who we think is going to make it to Green Bay for the Final Four. So since we're on the Division 3, I'm going to give you my 3 that I think that will make it through here. So
for Division 3, starting off down in the sectional number 4, I have Catholic Memorial going on.
Okay.
Then in sectional 3, that's where I went with Laconia.
Yep.
Kind of had a little bit of an area bias for me with my picks. And then I also went with Wisconsin Dells and then Winneconne going. So some personal picks for me. I grew up near Winneconne, so I was like, why not? I'll take the Wolves. And then Wisconsin Dells covered that South Central Conference for a number of years when I was living up in Berlin. So had to go and take those area teams. So I was a little bit biased, but I feel good about them because they're usually good girls programs.
That's why I kind of the same thing. I think I see Oostburg, because that's a team that both boys and girls have been dominant over the years. And going Laconia, Wittenberg, Burnhamwood, and Elk Mound is the one I picked, but I was really thinking about Wisconsin Dells and kind of rooting for the team that's a little closer. So I would not be surprised to see Dells 21-2, up Elk Mound 24-1. Now this is when everybody's good, and you look at Wittenberg, Burnhamwood, they're 25-0. They go a perfect state title. That's kind of hoping. You like to see those teams get there, and when they cap off the season with a gold ball and perfection. It is so hard because I just saw this with wrestling coaches say you want to have a loss somewhere along so you know what it feels like, you know how to bounce back, and it's not the end of your season. When that you lose in that one game in the playoffs or in the championship, whatever. Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's that feeling of, we were just so close.
Well, I had, with wrestling, I had a kid, Eli Leonard from Mount Horeb Barneveld was perfect. He ended up losing in the state championship game 8-7. It was that close of a perfection and a top of the podium. So you see the same thing in basketball. And, that unbeaten team. So I always kind of root for those if they go through the regular season because I know how tough it is to do it.
Yeah, and then as we move on, going through the girls' brackets, we move up to the Division II ranks. This is where things for the Madison area really start to come alive. We see more of our teams. We've got DeForest. They'll be going up to Portage to take on West Salem for a sectional semifinal Thursday night. And then we also have a 1 seed in Edgewood. They will be at Verona going up against a 3 seed in Stoughton. Those are both 2 really good games. And Dennis, you made a comment to me before this. You were surprised that DeForest was sitting at a 3 seed for the girls.
Well, they've had kind of a tough year. They're 13-13, so kind of been a little bit up and down there. But Jerry Schwann, the coach over there, has done a really good job. So I guess I'm not surprised in that you've got they're in the Badger Large, so they got some pretty good competition up there. You got to go through the Wanakees and the Beaver Dams, so you're battle tested by the time you get to state or the state tournament, rather.
Yeah, and then for that side, the winners will then advance to the sectional championship, which is going to be played at Baraboo. That's a 1:00 tip-off. There. And Baraboo, for people who haven't been up to that gym,
awesome.
Yes, it feels like the same way that Edgewood's gym feels like you're in Hoosiers. It's got that pit feeling. You have the upper deck for it as well, and then you're just up above the court, and it's an old school gym. Love doing games up in Baraboo. That's going to be a great environment for a sectional.
Yeah, you've got the stage on one end too. I mean, when I was starting to cover it, was all you had the stages and all these gyms, and now gradually. We talked about it with the city, with Madison East and La Follette, the intimate feeling they had. Now they got 2,000-seat gyms. Well, yeah, you can hold a sectional, you can pack them in, but for your typical game where you might only have 300 or 400 people there, it doesn't feel the same as it does in those old-style gyms. But time moves on, so.
And we move on as well. When we are in this Division II bracket, Dennis, is there anybody else that you like to come out of their – that we should be watching out for? I think a team like Lakeland, where they've got Christina Oymont averaging 30 points per game as well as 3.8 steals per game.
Miss Basketball candidate.
Yep. That is exactly why I brought her up. Lakeland feels like the team that with her, she could will this team to a trip to Green Bay.
Well, and that's what I have. I have Edgewood over Lakeland in the championship game, and Tosa East and West De Pere, the other 2 teams getting to state.
I do have West De Pere. I went with Union Grove for my other team. I just feel like Union Grove, they've been in the top 10 for the coaches poll almost all year on the girls' side. They feel like the type of team that just they're always around. And when you have a team like that, I just feel like that's the sort of thing where you make deep runs all the time. When you're used to being one of the best teams in the state, when you're used to making deep runs in the playoffs, it just, I mean, you've seen it far more than I have, not to call you old, Dennis, but that's just one of those things you just see that happen all the time. It's just, you're experienced.
Yep. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Moving up to Division I, this will be the sectional that we're going to be covering here on ESPN Madison it'll be sectional number 3 with a 1 seed at Arrowhead. They're taking on Verona, that game at McWanago, but then the 6 seed Kettle Moraine going to Oregon to take on the 2 seed Waunakee. And we'll be covering that Waunakee-Kettle Moraine game on Thursday night here on 100.5 ESPN Madison, as well as the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. And Dennis, I'm excited for this sectional. I think this might be the best sectional on the girls' side, regardless of division.
Yeah, well, I feel for Verona. Talked to Lexi Richardson earlier today. Yep, it's Arrowhead again in sectionals. So
every time.
That's what you expect. Arrowhead 23-3, the number 1 seed, and Verona ended up with the 59-game win streak in the Big 8 by the time the season was over. Then they had to do what's very hard to do: beat a team 3 times, and they beat Madison Memorial 51-46, and that was a game that was between 5 and 6 points either way the whole game. So I think they're glad not to have to see Memorial anymore. They're done with them for the season. And Memorial was picked to win the conference coming in with the losses Verona had graduating. But Lexi's done a great job with that program. Arrowhead, again, you got Cuso, one of the best players in the state. But I really like Waunakee, the way they've been playing. They played some tough teams, a tough schedule throughout the year. They played Arrowhead and they played Edgewood. And even though they lost those 2 games, and they go back to early in the season when they had a couple of losses that they think, okay, wait a minute. Let's take a look at this. What can we do this year? We hung in there. We hung against some good competition. And then they won the last year it was Oregon was the champ. They dethroned Oregon and won the Badger Large. So.
Well, in that Waunakee team, they've got 2 players shooting over 40% from 3, so they're really going to be able to stretch the floor against Kettle Moraine, and that opens up everything else for the rest of that offense. So Kettle Moraine can score. I mean, they put up 77 in their win over Oconomowoc in the regional final, and then in the regional semifinal against Madison East, they won that 88-40. You don't see a lot of girls teams getting up into those 80s to 90s, and the fact that they were able to do that and then flirted with 80 in a regional final, that's really impressive. This offense for Waunakee is the real deal.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that they're a transition team. They love to shoot the threes. But Kettle Moraine, though, they've got a couple of girls yet that were around when they had their back-to-back state championship teams. So that's a program that, even though you look at their record and say 16-10, yeah, they've been battle-tested, and it's not what you're doing early. It's how you're finishing. Are they on a high note? And, this very well could be an Arrowhead Kettle Moraine sectional final or a Verona Waunakee, which we would love to see in Oregon on Saturday.
That environment, if we get Verona Waunakee playing on a Saturday afternoon for a sectional championship, is going to be electric. Oregon Gym, it's again... There's a theme when I talk about my favorite gyms in the Madison area. If it's a gym that has that second level to it, so you have a few seats down in the bottom, but then they've got bleachers on the 2 sides going up to the ceiling, those are the gyms that I really love. It just has a different feel to it and a really great environment that you get from it. And Oregon's one of those.
Right, and I've been in that gym when they've had a sectional final, and they've turned people away at the door.
Yep.
And that's what you'd hope for, to have a local one. And, how close is it for Waunakee? Waunakee's got to drive maybe a little bit farther than Verona, but hey, on a Saturday afternoon, everybody should be there.
Exactly. Those communities will show up if that's the sectional that we can get. This is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. Are you dreaming of transforming your home into a space you've always wanted? Waunakee Remodeling makes it happen. Whether it's stunning kitchen makeovers, cozy living room revamps, or complete exterior facelifts, their expert team is there to bring your vision to life. They're local, reliable, and dedicated to quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time. Call 608-442-0034 or visit WaunakeeRemodeling.com today for a free consultation. When we come back from the break, Dennis Semrau and I preview the boys' tournament as we've got the brackets coming up.
We didn't pick our teams, though, for Division I.
Oh, my goodness, I forgot. Chrissy, Birdsall, our producer, why didn't you remind me?
First time, guys, kind of nervous.
Oh, it's fine. I'm just trying to deflect the blame. Jesse Nelson's School of Producing and Hosting. I didn't do anything wrong. Dennis, who are your picks for the Division I bracket?
Pewaukee over Arrowhead and Eau Claire Memorial and Muskego. So Jesse liked that one.
So I have Muskego as well. I thought Jesse Nelson would appreciate that. I have Wanakee going because I think that offense for Wanakee is just going to be too much to handle. And then I've got Pewaukee and then Eau Claire Memorial in my final four. Eau Claire Memorial is only giving up 36.5 points per game. They haven't even given up 1,000 points yet on the season, and they're into the sectional level. It is incredible what they can do on defense. So I think it's going to be a slugfest for whoever they play, and those are my four.
Well, I picked Arrowhead one because they've been there and they won it, and coming back, and I don't want to jinx the local team in this one. I thought, let's pick against the Wanakee and Verona in this one. But I had them both those teams getting to the sectionals. And I figured it was going to be a Wanakee Arrowhead final. We'll see what it is, but Verona, I'll have something to say about that.
They definitely will. Now, when we come back from the break, we will break down the boys bracket as they'll have some games starting on Tuesday, and then everybody will be playing on Friday for the regional semifinals. This is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania on ESPN Madison.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Is your home ready for a makeover? At Wanakee Remodeling, we specialize in exterior transformations that turn heads. New siding, flawless decks, and windows that shine. Our team delivers top-quality craftsmanship with unbeatable warranties, ensuring your home stands strong and stunning for years to come. Call Wanakee Remodeling today at 608-442-0034 or visit WanakeeRemodeling.com. Schedule your free estimate and let us bring your vision to life. Wanakee Remodeling, building beauty that lasts.
Dinner just got easier and tastier. Pizza Hut's Ultimate Hut Bundle is here to save the day. Starting at just $24.99, you can get any 2 medium pizzas, 8 boneless wings in your favorite flavor, and your choice of cinnamon, cheese, or breadsticks with 2 dips. Feed the family or wow your friends without breaking the bank. The Ultimate Hut Bundle is only here for a limited time. Hurry in and order online today at pizzahut.com. The Ultimate Hut Bundle. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Look, we all know that as we age, our bodies change, but Carbon World Health can help. They have a process of testosterone replacement therapy that includes a diagnostic exam and blood tests to assess your hormone levels to make sure that they are optimal for you, not optimal for your age. Carbon World Health can help you increase your energy, focus, and overall health with their approach to hormone therapy. It's all about quality of life for you. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
There's a winter weather advisory this Thursday on the Jump Around.
We are joined by the one and only Nolan Winter.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
See Wisconsin Badgers center Nolan Winter on the Jump Around every week for the rest of this basketball season.
We knew this offense was going to treat us really well with John Tonji, Xavier, and all the newcomers from the freshmen to the transfers.
The Jump Around, brought to you by Steinhoffels. Streaming live every Thursday on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
What are you doing out there?
Come on!
I saw you at the game the other night. Yeah, you. Up there getting mad, acting like we're all out there making $1 million a game. Well, let me be real with you. This isn't the pros. It's school sports, and it's a game. Our game. So please, let us play.
School sports fans, remember, when you cheer for your team, make noise for the right reasons. This message presented by the NFHS and the NIAAA.
And all student athletes in Wisconsin.
We're on the Badgers.
Who would have thought after 2 seasons?
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
That Greg Gard would have less of a hot seat than Luke Fickell.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Time for me to fly. Oh, I got to set myself free. Time for me to fly.
This is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the man, the myth, the legend, the dean of area high school sports, Dennis Semrau. As we're going through the brackets, we just finished up breaking down the girls' state tournament bracket, and now it's on to the boys. And just in case you still haven't decided what you're going to get for dinner, well, it just got easier and tastier as Pizza Hut's Ultimate Hut Bundle is here, starting at just $24.99. You can get any 2 medium pizzas, 8 boneless wings in your favorite flavor, and your choice of cinnamon, cheese, or breadsticks with 2 dips. Feed the family after the big game. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. The Ultimate Hut Bundle only at Pizza Hut, the official pizza of PrepMania. So Dennis, we'll start in Division 5. Again, the boys tournament starts on Tuesday, and then you'll have your regional semifinals Friday, regional finals on Saturday. Who are some area teams that we should be keeping our eyes on, or some matchups that you think are going to be really intriguing as their tournament will get started on Tuesday for Division 5?
That's kind of hard to say here. I haven't really looked a lot at Division 5. Cambria Friesland, probably from our area, and Southwestern. Again, Southwestern, we talked about that with the girls, Southwestern part of the state. That's in Sectional 4. And Abundant Life Christian, that's the one, right? Probably they weren't ranked in the polls, but they were back at state last year, and they got the Coon brothers, who we had in here. And I think I'm kind of rooting for them. I picked Abundant Life Christian and Columbus Catholic. I'm still working on the boys for my with sports. I got to do that yet tonight. So I'm not sure about Divisions 1 and 2, Almond, Bancroft. And I was looking at Sheboygan Lutheran probably. That's usually a pretty good call in Sectional 2. And Sectional 1, Turtle Lake maybe. They got the 1 seed overall, but that's kind of up in the air yet. I'm still kind of working on that one.
Yeah, and it would be such a cool story if Abundant Life Christian made it back to the Cole Center, given everything that school has gone through this year.
Yeah, Jacob and Jonah Kuhn both hit 1,000 points in the same game in December, and skilled guards. And as Dickie V used to say on ESPN, if you got to have guards at tournament time, you got guards, they're going to kind of rule the show, and you got 2 really good ones there. Mike Teese, the coach, also the athletic director, he's done a great job. He got a pretty good schedule there. But I think in that division, Sheboygan Lutheran's probably, they were the favorite coming in preseason, and they've done nothing to, I think, change my mind on that.
And then moving up to Division 4 on this one, I know we're going to talk about Mineral Point. They were there last year at the Cole Center. Is there anybody else that you think might be able to dethrone Mineral Point from this area in that Division 4 side?
Well, they could probably have to go through Cuba City, right down the road. There's a rivalry. And when Jerry Pettigrew was coaching Cuba City and Dan Burrison, that was a big one, going back and forth. 2 of our mainstays on the WBCA board, Jerry, the president, executive director. So that's always good. But on the other side, Cambridge, from a local standpoint, really like what they've done. And again, Deerfield. that's another team from our area that I kind of had highlighted there. They got a 2 seed. So, and Cambridge got the 1 seed in that lower half of that bracket in Section 4. But I'm still going to go with Mineral Point. And then you've got Aquinas and Bondul. I've got in the other 2 sectionals. Aquinas, just a traditional power in all sports.
Mm-hmm.
But Mineral Point, you like to see them duplicate. I got to see them at Christmas time, after Christmas, at the Wisconsin basketball, the Rick Majerus shootout at Concordia. And there was nothing there that said that they're not going to be at state. So
now I'm curious. You didn't pick our teammate Mark Tauscher's alma mater, Auburndale. They're a 1 seed in that second sectional. You don't think that Tauscher's?
They got a good shot. That and the Stratford. They're going to have to get through Stratford, I think, and then Bondul's on the other side of the bracket. So. Again, I'm still doing my homework on that to check and see. Okay. But I saw Auburndale there.
Yeah, I didn't want Mark Tauscher to be coming after you because you didn't pick his alma mater when they get a 1 seed in their sectional.
No, trust me, I've followed Auburndale for a long time, and I saw Tausch play in the field house. So yeah.
So you go way back.
Yeah, I go way back, and he was recruited by the football coaches because of what he did on the basketball court. All those people that want to specialize in sports, Mark was a great example. Basketball out there, the footwork and everything. And, hey, this guy's got it. And coaches look that when Badger coaches have a football player, they're checking all the other sports they're in. How are they interacting with their teammates? How is that sport going to help them in their sport? And so Mark was a big proponent of it. I know he is with his kids too. So.
As we go through the boys tournament bracket here on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania, I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau. We move up to Division III, and again, we start to see more and more of those Madison area schools as we look at the 3 and 4 sectionals. We've got Platteville, who I know technically really isn't Madison area, but we've got Lodi getting a 3 seed, Wisconsin Dells a 2 seed, but then a team that we've seen quite a few times, Lake Mills getting a 1 seed in their sectional.
They just shoot the 3 so well, and they're so well coached. Steve Hicklin over there. That's a team that they were the preseason favorite in the Capital North, but Mankato recruit A.J. Bender, top playmaker. Then you got Brady Benish, Ty Schaefer, Tyler Woline. By the time he's done, he's going to be one of the greatest players in that school history. I think it's possible, but they're going to have to get through. That's a pretty tough sectional. They're going to have to get through. You got Edgerton too. In the Rock Valley, you got to look at them. So I'd say it's Lake Mills, Edgerton, the survivor. That's going to be. That would be a sectional semifinal matchup, possibly.
Yep. And there is a possibility we get the Lake Mills Lakeside Lutheran rivalry game for a regional final with Lakeside Lutheran the 5 seed and then Lake Mills being that 1. I mean, Lakeside's going to have to beat Whitewater and then go up to Waupun in order for that to happen. But there is a possibility, and I love seeing those rivalry games for regional finals, or sometimes you'll get them in that sectional semifinal, and it just adds even more to it's already a pressure-packed game.
Yeah, and then Lakeside last year made it to the state. If they would have won, they would have gotten bumped up to Division II. They didn't. Unfortunately, they lost Casey Guzman. He had the game-winning shot in the semifinals. Tore up his knee playing football, so he's not been able to play this winter. And that's a shame, but again, that's such a good program. They've been able to overcome that. And a team kind of a dark horse, I think, in that sectional. But again, then we're looking across the other ways. Milwaukee Academy of Science, preseason number 1 coming in. They could win in any division.
I was going to say, that's a school where I feel like, I mean, if they win it again this year, they'll bump up to Division II, I would have to assume, given the performance factors. And then they're a good enough program that they could keep winning at Division II and suddenly be a Division I program.
That's the Catholic Memorial of basketball.
Yep.
We talk about Catholic Memorial years in football. They could compete in any division. You've got it's one of the most talented teams in the state. Iowa State commit Jamari and Bateman, one of the top players. And they played some pretty good competition during the year. Verona, Nicolay, De Pere, Eau Claire Memorial. So they're battle-tested.
They definitely are. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Check out the buzz at Madison Axe, your state-of-the-art entertainment spot with 8 lanes of axe throwing, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard, 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, and more. Perfect for a night out with the family or parties. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today. Dennis, a team that we haven't talked about on that Division III side that I feel like we need to, and then plus we'll get our picks here for the Final Four, the Freedom Irish. They're a 1 seed in that second sectional. They've got Donovan Davis, a 6'8 sophomore. He is averaging 22 points, 12 rebounds, leads the Freedom in points, rebounds, assists, I believe steals and blocks as well.
I saw him play up at the up in Appleton at the Champion Center this past summer, and he was phenomenal. And scouts are drooling over him.
He's already got offers from Wisconsin, Marquette, and Iowa State. So the big 3 when you're a Wisconsin basketball player, basically, is if you get those 3 schools recruiting you, you know that you're a pretty good player.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I guess you'd say, one of the weaker of the sectionals. So I got Freedom, getting to state. I haven't made my predictions on who's going to – well, I think it's Milwaukee Academy Sciences to lose, but you got Lake Mills and Freedom, and then I also got Elk Mound in the other one.
See, on that other one, so I went Milwaukee Academy of Science because I'm no dummy. Lake Mills because I want the area team there, of course. Freedom, I just, like you said, I think that is the weaker of the sectionals. Kiel might be able to give them a run, I think. The 2 seed on the very bottom there, but I think that's going to be, in that sectional final, their biggest hurdle that they're going to see. And then I went with Osceola. They're a 2 seed on that top part of this first sectional. They would have to take down Prescott, who they're both from the same conference, and Osceola finished 2 games ahead of Prescott in the conference standings, but for some reason, those computer rankings put Prescott as a 1 seed and Osceola as the 2 seed. So I'm just going with the upset. They've got a little chip on their shoulder, and we'll see Osceola at the Kohl Center for Division III.
Yeah, Prescott would like to get back to state for the 2nd year in a row, but I think Osceola's going to have something to say about it.
Exactly, especially if you get, like I said, those rivalry games. I just feel like that'd be one of those games where they're going to be coming out ready to play. We move ahead to Division II, and Dennis, for Division II now, I mean, we got to talk about him. Josh Manchester, Mount Horeb. Is anybody going to stand in their way when it comes to that sectional, or are they coming right? Are we just going to book it? They're going to the Kohl Center?
Fort Atkinson's had a really good season. Conference title up there. I think they tied, but
they won the conference.
They won the conference. So, that. And then Mount Horeb's going to have to go through either McFarland or Stoughton again. That third time's the charm type of game. But I was able to do a story for the Mount Horeb Mail on the 2015 team that won for Mount Horeb. And those guys are rooting for these guys to come back. Coach Nessheim had a son on that team, and he's got a son, Cam, on this team. There's a lot of parallels between it. Scoring, Drew Fredrickson was the good scoring guard, but Manchester is just another level, going for 2,000 points, which nobody's done in school history. He broke the school scoring record 5 games into this season. So it's what happens around him. The other guys, are they elevating their games? You had a football team that didn't make it to state, and a couple of guys from that with a little chip on their shoulder. They played Green Bay Notre Dame at the basketball yearbook tournament, and that was a team with 6'10" center, a lot of size, and so one thing they don't have is size, so they've got to be pretty physical, blocking out on the boards. Rebounding is really key, but again, Manchester can score 20 points in a blink of an eye in a row.
Yep.
So anytime you talked about that earlier, having that one guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and everybody else learning how to play with him. One thing, if you want to score points, make your free throws. And I've seen him make 10, 12 in a game. Get layups, and he's done a really good job on the defensive side of getting steals, coming back door, knocking the ball and going in for layups, and he makes his fast break layups.
Yep.
I don't see any clunkers. Oh, he gets in, he's got the good form, and he's got that deadly 3-point shot.
He's also the type of player when I was on the call for Mount Horeb's game against Edgewood towards the beginning of the season, and he's one of those players where everything looks easy, even though I know that he's working hard and he's putting in that effort, but everything is easy for him. He can hit a step back jumper if he needs to. He can do it all. He can score from anywhere on the floor. So he's just one of those guys that he's such a ridiculous talent. I think he may end up ending his career getting up towards that top 10 all-time scoring list somewhere. Maybe I was talking to Adam Mertz, one of our teammates. He is from Mount Horeb, covers that team, has seen them a bunch, and he was saying that he thinks that he might get around one of your favorite guys, Sam Oakey, for all-time scoring list. Won't get up to that 3,000 point number, but still might get up.
Anthony Pieper's got that one. I mean, you guys are getting close, but again, Zach McGuire, Chris Keel, Griffin Hanna. I mean, that's a pretty good set of guards, and Keel and McGuire bringing that football. McGuire was a really good football season, and Keel's an all-state wide receiver, more of a defensive player in this group. Chapman, another shooter, but they were ranked 11th preseason. Stoughton was ahead of them, but no, they're one of the best teams in our, if not the best team in our area. It'd be interesting to see them go up against some of the Big 8 teams.
Yeah, and they could see Stoughton. If Stoughton beats McFarland, Stoughton's the 4 seed, McFarland the 5, and then the winner of that game would take on Mount Horeb in that regional final.
And Stoughton's got a stud in Jacob Hibner. So
yes, very good player in Hibner. Now, who are your Division II picks? I'll give you mine here first, Dennis. I went with Greenfield from Sectional 4, and then Mount Horeb, of course, and then I went with Slinger coming out of that second sectional for Division II. That is the same sectional that has Notre Dame. They've got West De Pere. I'm really doing it because I'd love to see the Slinger Owls get the football state championship in Division II.
And basketball.
And then basketball, do what Marquette did for football and basketball last year for Division I. So I'm really just rooting for that because I love it when schools are able to do that. And then my final team for Division II, I went with Onalaska. I've seen them a few times over these last couple of years. They were at the 608 tournament, and they're just a really, really good program.
Well, and there's no ranked teams in that sectional,
exactly.
So that one's open. I like that one, even though I think the lacrosse area it's down, a little bit down from some of the teams, the lacrosse central years when they were in state. But I go with Nicolay. I just love their guards, and I've seen them play 3 times this year. And then Racine Park. I'm going with the Racine area school, and of course Mount Horeb, and Mount Horeb to win state. Probably over. I had them going against Nicolay. I wanted to see Nicolay's guards against with Manchester on a college court.
And then quickly here is. We're on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. I'm Hunter Vaughn. With me, the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau, for Division I. If you're paying attention here, you notice we didn't talk about a certain school that traditionally was Division II. That's Wisconsin Lutheran. While Con Knipple isn't there, they still have his brothers. Cager is number 2 in scoring for that team. They're a 1 seed in Sectional 4. I'm assuming that's your pick for that Division I to come out of there.
Yep, that's right.
Then the Sectional 3 is where we have our Madison area schools. Middleton's an 8 seed. Sun Prairie East is a 5. We're going to be at Madison Memorial, the 4 seed, as they host Madison La Follette. And Memorial being a 4 seed, Dennis, I feel like Steve Collins, having won 2 state championships, he's been to the Kohl Center so many times. I feel like they're a team that could really surprise some people because of that seed number and make a deep run and a shot to get to the Kohl Center.
Well, the team that we thought early in the year would have been coming in was Middleton with Garlock and company. But Kevin Bavery has not had his starting lineup all year long. He's had suspensions, injuries, and he didn't have Garlock until after Christmas time. But Kettle Moraine's the only unbeaten Division I team, and they're
out for blood. They were disappointed after their loss to Marquette in the semifinals last year.
Yeah, so I got Kettle Moraine and Wisconsin Lutheran, and then De Pere again with Kinzinger and company. Gregory has had a good year, and the point guard's dad.
Rob Domofsky
yeah.
of ESPN. His son Rowan is the point guard for the De Pere Redbirds. It would be fun to see Rob down at the Kohl Center losing his mind as he cheers his son on.
Yeah, Zach, one of the top seniors, a Mr. Basketball finalist. Price Gregory is the guy that's really exploded this year for them. And then, and Rowan, last year I was really impressed with how he just is one of those guys that does all the little things, the dirty work, finds a way to get a layup. He'll make that last second shot at the half going in. You're thinking, oh, it's just a throwaway. No, he makes every play out there count. So you got to have that. And they're loaded with prospects, and they were preseason one coming in. So, but Kettle Moraine and Wisconsin Lutheran, what can you say about that program? They lose Kahn to Duke, and they haven't missed a beat. I mean, they played some really tough teams too. And this was the year where are they going to kind of settle back? And they weren't picked in the top 5 coming in because, again, they're moving up a division, but they've proven they're a Division I team.
Yeah, and it's almost turned into a machine at Wisconsin Lutheran with how good they have been and the way that they've been able to develop players in that group. Now, when it comes to the sectionals, for my pick, I did go with Kettle Moraine. As much as I would love to see Steve Collins with Vel Phillips Memorial or Wanakee as a 2 seed on that sectional, I saw Kettle Moraine at the Kohl Center, and they brought almost everybody back from a state team last year, and like you said, the only undefeated team. And then, of course, Wisconsin Lutheran, and then De Pere. I have a question mark for Sectional 1. So Kaukauna is the 1 seed on that one. This is with the Appleton and then going up towards Eau Claire and the River Falls area sectional. I can't pick a team out of this group. So who did you pick out of this group to make it to the Kohl Center? I
picked Kaukauna just because of the tradition, and they're always seem
also
to bring
kind of feels like a weak sectional outside of Kaukauna.
Yeah, outside of that, I think they've got a pretty good shot coming in. Eau Claire Memorial could be waiting for them in the sectional final. But, and we were looking at sectional 3 again with Kettle Moraine. On the other side, you got Verona, you got Sun Prairie East, Sun Prairie West, Wanakee. Any of those teams could end up in the sectional final there. And then, hey, it's one game. And I like the style of play. I mean, you look at Verona can score at will, and I just saw Sun Prairie West against Middleton a couple of weeks ago, and really, Chris Davis, junior's over at Sun Prairie East, but West has had a heck of a year. They knocked off all the top teams in the league, and that Big 8 was so much fun to cover and watch this year. Well, after the football season, basketball was a joy to watch. But Kettle Moraine, that again, they're going to have that target on their back because they're unbeaten.
Yeah, and Sun Prairie East is the type of team with that being a 5 seed. I expect them to be able to win against a 12 seed in Badger, and then if they can figure out a way to get the win against Madison Memorial at Vel Phillips Memorial, and then if you're taking on Kettle Moraine in a sectional semifinal, like Chris Davis Jr. again, we were just talking about Josh Manchester maybe getting up into the top 10. Chris Davis Jr. is into the top 10 all-time scoring in the state. He's got like 2,500 career points. We saw you and Jesse Nelson saw him put up 61 for a career high.
61 against Verona, right?
Yeah, like he could go for 70 in a playoff game. And if he's going for 70 when they've got Max Raymer on that team, who's a really good point guard, he was the quarterback for the football team, like that's a good enough team. Like you also said, you need guards when it comes to the postseason.
Yeah, and if Chris raises his defense to where his offense is, because he can score at any level, that's a key right there. I think he can maybe get some steals or kind of pump up that defensive end because, everybody can score. When you get down there, it's who's going to make the stops.
We have to take one more break, and then we'll come back and wrap things up here on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania before we get to some Brewers spring training baseball here on 100.5 ESPN Madison.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
They did it again. For the 5th time, Siding Unlimited, the 30-year-old Wisconsin family-owned company, is the Pella Window and Door Company's Platinum Premier Certified Contractor of the Year in the whole USA. Siding Unlimited is here in Madison with a dynamic outside-in showroom. See Siding Unlimited's window, door, roofing, deck, and other great outside stuff inside at 2018 South Stoughton Road, south of Buckeye. See Siding Unlimited's frequent Instagram posts or go to sidingunlimited.com.
This is our crew.
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball is coming to ESPN Madison.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Every pitch, every dramatic moment, every
fly ball left field. Back. Still back. It is up and gone.
Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers. 100.5 ESPN.
Welcome.
The 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Give me the green light. Oh, yeah. Cause I'm ready to go.
This is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania on ESPN Madison. For over 50 years, Zimbrick Honda's provided the Madison area with quality Honda vehicles. The trusted staff of Zimbrick Honda's used car dealership will save you time and reduce your car buying stress by finding the vehicle that matches your style. If you're in the market for a new Honda or a used Honda, visit Zimbrick Honda in Madison today or online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Dennis, as we wrap things up before we get into some Brewers baseball, any final thoughts as we go into the boys tournament starting? We've got the girls sectionals as well this weekend. This is one of my favorite weekends of the entire high school sports year when we have boys regionals, girls sectionals. We get that doubleheader on Saturday. Any final thoughts?
Well, it's what else is going on, because this is team wrestling going on at the field house. You've got hockey going on over in Middleton, and you've got girls gymnastics. So Todd Clark had 3 releases today for the WIAA. One of the busiest guys in the state right now with those 3. But we're halfway through then, and girls basketball and boys, and boom, that's it.
That is it. And again, in case you didn't see it on the break screen there, we will have all 5 state championship games from the Kohl Center for boys basketball coming up, as well as some of the semifinals for we'll have the Division 3, 2, and 1 semifinals here on Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania. Dennis, it's the best time of the year. Postseason basketball. We're excited to have you back after you were covering state wrestling this last weekend, and we just got to rest up and be ready to go.
4 games in 3 days coming up Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Exactly. So stay tuned to the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Like Dennis said, we're going to have 4 games in 3 days right here on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, as well as some of those games right here on 100.5 ESPN Madison. I'm Hunter Vaughn. For the Dean of Area High School Sports, Dennis Semrau, as well as our producer, Chrissy Birdsall, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Zimbrick Honda's presentation of PrepMania on ESPN Madison.